Digital photography. Here we go, week 5 of our remote teaching and learning. I hope it's going well for you. I'm really doing my best to put out good stuff for you. So in an effort to do that, this week I want to talk about composition. Composition is what you're doing right before you take a picture and you're looking through the viewfinder and you're trying to decide what you're going to keep in the picture and what you're going to delete. And so a lot of times when you're moving those viewfinders around, you're looking for repetition. You might be looking for other elements like, oh, there's that focal point that I want to keep and I want to put it over here. And you're really doing it. A lot of you do it naturally based on your gut and you do it very well. And some of you, I think, can understand composition better so that your pictures can be stronger. So let's take a look at how we can use composition to make our photos better. I'm going to use a video and the video will have the photographs of this photographer named Steve McCurry. Steve McCurry is really well known, especially because he ended up photographing for National Geographic, which got his photographs a lot of attention. He photographs all around the world. He does a lot of work with different cultures and capturing people. And so we may talk about him a little bit more next week when we're in our people theme. But this photograph of the girl, she's from Afghanistan, that she ended up kind of being coined the Afghan girl. And she was on the cover in obviously June of 1985. And this cover became, I would say, National Geographic's most popular, famous cover. And so much so that they went back years later to Afghanistan and found this girl and photographed her again and told the story of her life. Because so many people wondered whatever happened to that girl. Her eyes were so captivating. People really were interested in her life. And so that is a little bit about Steve McCurry. Years later, more recently, he has been caught up in a scandal about the integrity of his work. He was caught doing some Photoshop work and altering his photos. It wasn't him, it was people on his team. But a lot of really good conversation came out of that about how honest his work was. And as a photojournalist, you know, should you be able to Photoshop your work? So if you're interested in that, look it up. It's pretty interesting. Okay, so we're going to use a video with Steve McCurry's photos to explain these 9 compositional tips. It's going to go kind of fast, but we can replay it if we need to. There we go.
but also rules are meant to be broken. So the main point is to enjoy yourself while you're photographing, and photograph in your own way, in your own style.
All right, now back to Lord of the Rings. This is an example in film of how the rule of thirds is used, and so don't think that this is just a photography thing and it's not something that everybody uses. It absolutely is. The rule of thirds is actually called the golden rule, and the idea of breaking things up a little bit mathematically, or a lot mathematically, goes back to like Michelangelo and Da Vinci days. So it's used by artists and designers all over the place. Fashion designers, graphic designers, in film it's used. So I wanted to show you this example of a trailer with the rule of thirds grid over top of it so you could see how intentional people use the rule of thirds when they're composing, and not just photographs, but in film, and like I said, other kinds of art and design as well. So take a look at this. I think it really demonstrates how important and how widely used the rule of thirds is. Goodness gracious, here we go.
The eye of the enemy is moving. The end has come. Every day, Frodo moves closer to
Notice how everything is lined up right on that grid,
now Frodo is alive.
especially the eyes. We always look at the eyes. So you want those to be at the intersection or
Come, Master.
on one of the lines.
Come to Smeagol. This is your test. Every path you have trod through wilderness, through war, has led to this road.
The enemy will never let Aragorn come to the throne of Gondor.
It is time. Give him the sword of the king.
Become who you were born to be.
The precious sleepy eyes.
He means to murder us! Never! I'm not sending him away. Come to me.
The order's set. The pieces are moving.
He is here.
We've come to it at last.
I see in your eyes the same fear that would take the heart of me. A day may come when the courage of man fails, when we forsake our friends and break all bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day.
Whatever happens, stay with me.
This day, we fight!
All you have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to you.
We shall see the Shire again.
You gave away your life's grace. I cannot protect you anymore.
We cannot achieve victory through strength of arms. Not for ourselves,
But we can give Frodo a chance.
All right, so here are, including the rule of thirds, the 9 different tips for composition that we saw on that video. So if you are wondering which one, or if you're wondering about the definition of each one, please reach out to me, because I think that video does a really great job of visually explaining them, but sometimes I get questions, especially about figure to ground. Figure to ground is finding contrast between the thing that you're taking pictures of. So the example in the video was the dancer behind stage. And so there were, she was white in white, and then all around her in the background was black. And then there was the next shot of Steve McCurry's was the people dancing in the sandstorm, and their skin is very dark, and all the sand around them is very light. So it's contrast between the figure and the background. I think the other ones are pretty self-explanatory, but what you're going to do this week is take 9 photographs, and hopefully you'll take many more, because like I said, I want you guys to be experimenting and really practicing. But in the end, what you're turning in is 9 photographs, 1 demonstrating each of these ways of composing photos. So you'll take a picture that really highlights your use of the rule of thirds. Then you'll have a second photo that uses leading lines, diagonals, etc., etc. Those will go on your Flickr album, and you'll call that album composition. So the requirements are 9 photos. All of them have to be your original photographs. I know that that's probably very obvious, but once in a while I'll get somebody who tries to turn in other people's work. So make sure that these are works that you have taken. Take new images. Don't use images from your camera roll, because these are so intentional and so specific that if you try to just find something on your camera roll, it's not going to be quite right. So really take your time and go take these pictures for this assignment, please. And then, like I said, you'll upload them to your Flickr album, create an album called Composition. If you've had trouble doing that, just know that when you get to Flickr, upload a bunch of photos first and then put them in the album. You can't really make an album first and then put your pictures in it. And then again, I want to keep uploading our best images to the Share Out Media album, so we can just be seeing what each other are doing. So whatever's your best, throw a picture in the Share Out Media album. That way we can see each other's work, and it's a quick way for students to comment on each other's work and for me to comment on your work quickly. And I like to just know what your opinion is about what your best work is. So I'll be going to Flickr to grade, but I think the Share Out is just a more social way to share things. All right, any questions? Please let me know what you need. 2 other announcement type things. Don't forget, at noon to 1 o'clock Monday through Friday, I'm hosting Zoom meetings. That's just a time for you to come ask questions, but also to just hang out, eat your lunch, talk, chat, whatever. So far, we've had lots of people coming, and it's been just social and fun to just catch up and see what everybody's doing. The second thing is there is a mural contest. It is hosted by the Village of Spring Lake, but it's to paint a mural on the side of the 7 Steps Up building in Spring Lake. And there's more information, both I'll put it on Schoology and also on the Spring Lake High School Art Facebook page. So if you're interested in doing that, it's a commissioned project for the summer. So you would be paid to paint a mural at 7 Steps Up this summer. And it could be an individual project, or it could be a team of people together. So let me know if you're interested in that. That's a really cool opportunity that we have in our community. So questions, let me know what you got. Stop in at noon to 1 o'clock if that's helpful. The information for that Zoom meeting has been sent to you on Schoology, and it's also on your Schoology calendar. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope that this is helpful, and I'm excited again to see what you do. So take care, have a great week, and I'll talk to you guys soon.